Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving into one of the most secretive and fascinating topics in modern military aviation. We're talking about stealth bombers, the ultimate symbol of air power, strategy, and technological dominance. For decades, only one aircraft has truly defined this category: America's legendary B-2 Spirit. A flying wing that looks like it came straight out of a science fiction movie, designed to slip through enemy defenses unnoticed and deliver devastating strikes anywhere on the planet. It's the kind of machine that isn't just about war, it's about shaping the balance of power. But in recent years, a new challenger has emerged from the East. China's defense industry has been pouring resources, research, and ambition into creating their own long-range stealth bomber, a mysterious aircraft known as the Xian H-20. While much of it remains shrouded in secrecy, the whispers, the leaks, and the speculation all suggest one thing: Beijing is aiming to rival or even surpass the American B-2. If successful, the H-20 would not only transform China's air force but also rewrite the rules of deterrence in the Pacific and beyond. So in today's video, we're going to put these two giants side by side. On one hand, the proven but aging B-2, a Cold War marvel still unrivaled in stealth aviation. On the other, the upcoming Xian H-20, a bomber that could mark the dawn of a new era in Chinese military power. We'll explore their designs, their strengths, their weaknesses, and most importantly, what they mean for the future of global security. This isn't just about two planes. This is about two nations, two philosophies, and two visions of power projection. And by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer picture of whether China's H-20 has what it takes to challenge America's stealth king, or if the B-2 Spirit will remain the undisputed master of the skies. When you think about the most iconic stealth aircraft in history, one name always rises to the top: the B-2 Spirit. This bomber is unlike anything else ever built. The moment you see its design, a sleek flying wing with no tail, no fuselage, sticking out just a smooth dark shape that almost melts into the sky, you instantly realize it's not a normal aircraft. It was designed to be invisible, not just to the naked eye but to the most advanced radars and detection systems in the world. The B-2's story begins during the Cold War, at a time when the United States was locked in a technological arms race with the Soviet Union. America needed a bomber that could fly directly into heavily defended territory, past surface-to-air missiles, past fighter interceptors, and strike at the very heart of enemy command centers and nuclear arsenals. And so, out of that pressure came a masterpiece of aerospace engineering: the B-2. This aircraft first took to the skies in 1989, and while the world around it has changed dramatically, the B-2 still feels futuristic today. It wasn't just built to carry bombs. It was built to carry out missions no other aircraft could survive. Its radar cross-section is so tiny that it can appear to radar operators like a small bird, rather than a massive 170-foot wingspan bomber. That stealth capability allows it to penetrate enemy airspace undetected, and that's exactly what makes it so feared. But stealth is only part of the equation. The B-2 is also a long-range heavyweight. It can fly over 6,000 miles without refueling, and with mid-air refueling, its range is practically unlimited. That means it can take off from the continental United States, strike a target anywhere in the world, and return home, all in one mission. Few countries can even dream of projecting that kind of power. And then there's the payload. The B-2 can carry up to 40,000 pounds of weapons, everything from conventional precision-guided bombs to nuclear warheads. In other words, it's not just a stealth plane, it's a stealth plane with an iron fist. During conflicts in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya, the B-2 proved its worth by striking heavily defended targets in the opening hours of war, crippling enemy defenses before they even knew what was happening. But of course, all of this cutting-edge technology doesn't come cheap. Each B-2 cost over $2 billion to develop and produce, making it one of the most expensive aircraft in history. Only 21 were ever built, and today, fewer than that remain in active service. Yet even with such small numbers, the B-2 remains one of the most powerful symbols of U.S. military strength. It's important to note, though, The B-2 is not perfect. Its maintenance costs are astronomical, requiring massive resources to keep each plane operational. And as stealth detection technologies improve around the world, questions remain about whether the B-2 can remain as invisible as it once was. Still, for over 3 decades, no other nation has fielded a bomber quite like it, until now. Because somewhere across the Pacific, China is working on its answer to the B-2, and they're calling it the Xian H-20. Now let's shift our focus to the mysterious giant that has the world talking, China's Xian H-20. Unlike the B-2, which has been flying combat missions for decades, the H-20 hasn't yet revealed its full form to the public. But even in its secrecy, it has already changed the conversation about air power in Asia. The H-20 is being developed by Xi'an Aircraft Industrial Corporation, the same company responsible for many of China's long-range bombers. For years, China relied on older, Soviet-inspired designs like the H-6, which is essentially a Chinese variant of the Cold War-era Tu-16. But the H-6, despite upgrades, is limited. It lacks the stealth, range, and survivability to operate against modern air defenses. China knew if it wanted to compete with the US on a global scale, it needed something revolutionary, a bomber that could do what the B-2 does. Enter the H-20. Reports suggest that this aircraft will adopt a flying wing, design almost identical to the B-2 Spirit. That's no coincidence. The flying wing shape is the gold standard of stealth, and it allows the aircraft to reflect radar waves in ways that make it nearly invisible. From satellite images and defense leaks, the H-20 appears to be China's first true attempt at building a next-generation strategic stealth bomber. So what do we know about its capabilities? Official numbers are scarce, but defense analysts believe the H-20 could have a combat range of around 5,000 miles without refueling. That puts U.S. bases in Guam, Hawaii, and even parts of Australia within striking distance if launched from mainland China. In other words, the H-20 isn't just about defending China's borders. It's about projecting power far into the Pacific, challenging American dominance in regions once considered safe. Payload is another major factor. While exact figures remain secret, the H-20 is expected to carry at least 45,000 pounds of weapons, possibly even more than the B-2. It could be armed with conventional bombs, advanced cruise missiles, and even China's next-generation hypersonic weapons. If that's true, then the H-20 would not just be a bomber, it would be a multi-role strike platform capable of overwhelming defenses and delivering precision strikes at long range. Then there's the nuclear question. Many experts believe the H-20 will become a core part of China's nuclear triad, giving Beijing a stealthy, long-range nuclear delivery system for the first time. That alone could shift the strategic balance in ways that make rivals very uncomfortable. But it's not all certain. The B-2 took decades of secret research, trial and error, and billions upon billions of dollars to perfect. China is attempting to compress that learning curve into just a few years. That raises questions. Will the H-20 truly match the B-2 in stealth? Will its engines be quiet enough, its radar cross-section small enough, its systems advanced enough to avoid detection by modern air defense networks? Or will it simply be a large, stealth-shaped aircraft without the invisible edge that makes the B-2 so unique? For now, the H-20 remains a mystery aircraft. Rumors swirl of prototypes being tested, of underground bases housing secret models, of an unveiling that could happen any year now. What's certain, though, is this. The H-20 represents China's determination to challenge the United States in the skies. It's not just about building a bomber. It's about showing the world that Beijing can play on the same level as Washington when it comes to the most advanced tools of war. And that brings us to the real question. How do these two compare? The legendary B-2 proven in combat versus the up-and-coming H-20, still cloaked in secrecy. Let's put them side by side. So now that we've looked at both bombers individually, let's bring them face to face. On one side, the American B-2 Spirit, a battle-tested ghost of the skies. On the other, China's Xian H-20, the mysterious newcomer that promises to shake the balance of power. Which one truly comes out on top? Let's start with design. Both aircraft rely on the same concept, the flying wing. It's not just futuristic, it's the only real way to achieve deep stealth. The B-2 pioneered this design in the 1980s, and the H-20 appears to be following the same blueprint. But here's the difference. The B-2's stealth has been tested in combat for over 30 years. It has penetrated enemy airspace, destroyed defenses, and returned undetected. The H-20, meanwhile, has yet to prove itself outside of design sketches and projections. Until it flies real missions, the Spirit keeps the advantage in stealth credibility. Next, let's talk about range. The B-2 can fly around 6,000 miles unrefueled. With refueling, it can practically circle the globe. The H-20, according to reports, could reach up to 5,000 miles. That's slightly less, but strategically it's still enough to put U.S. assets like Guam and Hawaii within reach. In terms of pure numbers, the B-2 edges out the H-20 in range, but both are long-distance heavyweights. Now payload. This is where things get interesting. The B-2 can carry 40,000 pounds of bombs and missiles. The H-20, on the other hand, is rumored to carry around 45,000 pounds or more. If that's accurate, China may actually have an edge in payload capacity. And if the H-20 can integrate hypersonic or nuclear weapons, it could become a truly formidable strike platform. Then we come to technology. The B-2 was built with 1980s tech, but it was so advanced that even today, it still holds up. The Spirit uses radar-absorbing materials, electronic warfare systems, and advanced avionics to stay invisible. But here's the catch. It's old, expensive, and incredibly difficult to maintain. The H-20, if China succeeds, could incorporate more modern electronics, sensors, and data links, giving it a technological edge in networking and battlefield awareness. But again, that's only if. And let's not forget cost. Each B-2 Spirit cost over $2 billion to build. Only 21 were made and fewer remain today. The H-20, while still expensive, could be cheaper to produce if China mass produces it. That could mean larger numbers, something the U.S. never had with the B-2. So who wins? It really depends on perspective. The B-2 has one massive advantage. It's proven. It's real, it's flown, it's fought, and it's delivered results. The H-20 for now is a shadow, an aircraft that exists in rumors, renderings, and projections. It may turn out to be everything China promises, or it may fall short of the B-2's legendary standard. But here's the bigger picture. This isn't just about one plane versus another. It's about what they represent. The B-2 Spirit was a symbol of American dominance during the Cold War and beyond. The Xian H-20 is a symbol of China's rise, its ambition to not just defend its borders, but to project power across oceans. If the H-20 succeeds, it won't just rival the B-2. It will show that the monopoly on stealth bombers is over. So in the end, the battle between the B-2 and the H-20 isn't just a comparison of specs and numbers. It's a battle of eras, the old master versus the new challenger. The question now is not whether the H-20 can catch up. It's how soon it will take to see both of these giants share the skies, and what that will mean for the balance of global power. Because one thing's for sure, when the H-20 finally takes flight, the age of America's unchallenged stealth dominance will be over, and a new chapter in aerial warfare will begin.